Students and audience, this is going to be another video that is the second part of chapter number 7, where already one short video has been captured in order to explain the arrival of locusts which happen in this novel of Chinua Achebe. Things fall apart in this chapter in the beginning. One incident has already taken place and that incident has been recorded. This is about the arrival of locusts. How do the African enjoy these locusts? What is the impression they have about these locusts when they come? And what is that when they go? After that, in this chapter, we have another significant incident. It is the death of Ikmefuna. And my students may be remembering that Ikmefuna is the boy who was taken from the, we can say Mabano tribe as a kind of indemnity, as a kind of fine with the girl. Now, Ikmefuna had been living for 3 years at the house of Okonkwo, and he had become one of the members of Okonkwo household, and Okonkwo's household was also very in love with Ikmefuna because of his qualities, because of his characteristics that we have read in some last chapter. But here only the incident of the death of Ikmefuna is to be talked about. I think we should proceed by reading this passage. It says, the next day, the passage is by the way colored passage, green. The next day, a group of elders from all the 9 villages of Umuofia came to Okonkwo's house early in the morning, and before they began to speak in low tones, Nawai and Ikmefuna were sent out. They did not stay very long, but when they were away, Okonkwo sat still for a very long time, putting his chin in his palms. Later in the day, he called Ikmefuna and told him that he was to be taken home the next day. Nawai overheard it and burst into tears, whereupon his father beat him heavily. As for Ikmefuna, he was at a loss. His own home had gradually become very faint and distant. He still missed his mother and his sister and would be very glad to see them, but somehow he knew he was not going to see them. He remembered once when men had talked in low tones with his father, and it seemed now as if it was happening all over again. So this is the sixth sense that we can say in this paragraph had been highlighted on the part of Ikmefuna. Ikmefuna remembers, as we find in the last line of the paragraph, that when some 3-4 years ago it had happened that some people came to his home and it talked to his father in low tones, in whispering tones, and ultimately he was shifted from his real father's home to his adopted father, that is Okonkwo in this tribe, and he knew that something like that is going to happen. But as we find in this paragraph, it has been told to Ikmefuna that next day few men would come and they would take him to his original home, and he possibly did not understand what's going on, but he understood that something wrong is going to be there. So in that way, Ikmefuna had a kind of sixth sense also, and he was thinking that something bad can happen to him. And so he prepared himself for this purpose. But when Nawai listened to all this, he became sad, he started to weep, and this goes to show how much in love Nawai was with Ikmefuna because of his qualities, because he had. And same was the case with Mr. Okonkwo as well. He was also sad after the arrival of these people from different tribes who had come. Actually, these tribes have come to implement the decision that the girl was to be married, the girl of Mabano tribe who came as a part of fine was to be married to the man whose wife was killed by the Mabano tribe. But on the other hand, Ikmefuna, who was given time of 3 years, after that the time had come that he should be killed. And this is what is going to happen with Ikmefuna. So these paragraphs are very much relevant with respect to the death of Ikmefuna. The students, when the question comes, what and how and the way or the scene of death of Ikmefuna, there lies the answer that we are reading today. So in that way, first of all, the stage is being set by the writer that something bad is going to happen to Ikmefuna, and that is why such a paragraph was designed by the writer. Now this is the next paragraph which will contribute more into the answer of this question, how did Ikmefuna die? For example, let's have a reading of this. The next day the men returned with a pot of wine. They were all fully dressed as if they were going to a big clan meeting or pay a visit to the neighboring village. They passed their clothes under the right armpit and hung their goatskin bags and sheathed machetes, the word is machete, over their left shoulders. Okonkwo got ready quickly and the party set out with Ikmifuna, carrying the pot of wine, deathly silence descended on Okonkwo's compound. Even the very little children seemed to know throughout the day. Navai sat in his mother's hut and tears stood in his eyes. So the stage is being set by telling us that the men have returned and they are fully dressed, they are formally dressed, and they're carrying the weapons with them as well, as if they are on a very big mission, and they're having a palm wine pot as well, and they have asked Ikmifuna to carry the pot of wine and walk before them, and therefore Ikmifuna is ready for that. From all this arrangement, something is going to happen very tricky, very bad. This is being felt by Ikmifuna also, this is being felt by Navai as well, and this is being felt by the environment of the house as well, that something bad is going to happen to Ikmifuna, because the arrival of these men cannot be very peaceful. The dressing of these men, the way they have prepared themselves, it's not that peaceful. So that is why this is the kind of thing going to happen. So Ikmifuna and these men walk outside of the places where the Mufia people live, and ultimately go into the deep forest, where the depth of the forest increases and the people are still walking. Nobody knows why they are walking, what is happening. So this paragraph is significant, that will reveal to us some of the details that possibly may be useful in answering the question, how did Ikmifuna die? Let's read it. Thus the men of Mufia pursued their way armed with sheathed machetes, and Ikmifuna, carrying a pot of wine on his head, walked in their midst. Although he had felt uneasy at first, he was not afraid. Okonkwo walked behind him. He could hardly imagine that Okonkwo was not his real father. He had never been fond of his real father, and at the end of 3 years, he had become very distant indeed. But his mother and his 3-year-old sister, of course, he would not be 3 now, but 6 would be recognized him, or something like that. So this is what Okonkwo is doing, and this is what Ikmifuna is doing. Ikmifuna, while he was walking among these people, 6 people, and his father, supposedly the father, Okonkwo, was also walking with them, and he was thinking constantly where they are going. Will he be able to see his mother and sister, or something else may happen to him? So he was uneasy, uncomfortable, but still he was carrying and making a journey. So that is the way how these men had separated Ikmifuna from the population, from the areas where the people are living, where the men and women are present, the children are present. They have separated him and taken him to the deep depths of the forest, possibly to commit some crime with him. And the strange thing for us is that Okonkwo was also present there. But we must remember that Okonkwo is a man who can sacrifice his son, who can sacrifice his father in order to be called a brave man. So he is also present there with these people who are going to enact the scene of death of Ikmifuna. So let's go forward and see what happens actually with Ikmifuna. Now this is the text with yellow color that is really very much important for us. Let's read the first passage, and the scene is so bad I would not like to repeat it. The students can read it at home. For example, one of the men behind him cleared his throat. Ikmifuna looked back, and men growled at him to go on and not stand looking back. The way he said it sent cold fear down Ikmifuna's back. His hands trembled vaguely on the black part he carried. Why had Okonkwo withdrawn to the rear? Ikmifuna felt his legs melting under him, and he was afraid to look back. Now this is the situation, that first of all, Okonkwo was walking behind Ikmifuna, the other man was walking behind him, and in that way Ikmifuna felt quite easy. But now he saw that the father, Okonkwo, had gone to the rear, to the end of these people, and has given the chance to the all 6 people to come forward and to walk behind Ikmifuna. So Ikmifuna was very sad about that, because of the looks of the men, because of the way they talked very harshly to him, and because of the weapon they were carrying, and in that way he felt alone, and he felt that something bad possibly can happen to him. So this is what was happening with him, and this was making him so sad, so upset. And in the next passage that I don't want to read, something had happened. He has been attacked with the machete, and the boy not only has been attacked by the stranger, but also Okonkwo himself, in order to prove his mettle, in order to prove that he was not weak, in order to prove that he can do anything for the survival of his honor, which he has earned. In that way, Ikmifuna is killed. But once Ikmifuna is killed, the condition of the father becomes very bad. Condition of Okonkwo becomes very bad. For example, a few of the lines of this yellow passage, if we read, it says, as soon as his father walked in the night, Navai knew that Ikmifuna had been killed, and something seemed to give way inside him, like the snapping of a tightened bow. He didn't cry. He just hung limp. He had the same kind of feeling not long ago during the last harvest season. Every child loved the harvest season. Those who were big enough to carry even a few yams in a tiny basket went with grown-ups farm. So that is the condition of Okonkwo. Know that he was in a very poor condition. His physical, mental condition, his psychological condition has become very bad after the death of Ikmefuna. Possibly he had grown in love with Ikmefuna, but he had taken part in the killing of Ikmefuna, so his condition is very bad. From his condition, it can be judged by his own son, real son Navai, that something bad had happened to him, and he was realizing and understanding the stories which had taken place. But ultimately, the result of all this activity was that Ikmefuna was gone. The death of one woman was revenged by killing the boy of the opposite family, even if the boy carried so many qualities in him. So in that way, one can see that when oppression is going on, when brutal forces are going on, when colonization is going on, at that time the people who are innocent people who've done nothing, they could be punished, they could be given a lot of punishment, but not only punishment, death can come to them as well, in order to make the system strong. So Okonkwo, in order to make his system strong, make his honor kept at a higher level, he has allowed these men to kill Ikmefuna, even if he was having lots of qualities. So for them, a man of quality was not important. Their honor of the tribe was important, their principles were important, because power demanded all that. So in this sense, when somebody powerful is on the one hand, somebody less powerful is on the other hand, and somebody can kill the other person only because the power which they have, only because the forces which they have with them, that goes to show how colonization took place and how in all of us one colonizer is present, and that can take as much revenge as possible. That is what the whole chapter goes to reveal in this way. This chapter can go to answer the question how Ikmefuna was killed. So that's it from